Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Turtle Club deck profile here. We have our first place winner, Bobby, who took Vegito all the way to the finish.
Ooh.
All right, tell us what you played and what you played against.
So I played mono blue Vegito, starter deck leader from set 10. He's been around for a long time. We played 3 rounds today at locals. I played against a U7 Goku, blue-red. I played against red GT, and then I played against, in the finals, green cooler, Unison deck.
Great. Tell us about that leader.
Okay, so the leader on swing draws a card, and then the best part about him is on the front side, when any one of your battle cards leaves the field or Unison dies, you can flip him over, draw 2, and go to the back side. So he awakens on 8 life almost every game. And then on the back side, he swings, draws a card, and he also has an ability whenever a battle card or Unison goes to the drop once per turn, you get to draw a card, untap an energy. And then the best part is the activate battle. For 2 blue energy, you can choose one of your Unison cards and give it plus 10k and triple strike. But it's not once per turn, so you can pump it as many times as you can pay 2 blue energy. So, pretty powerful.
Awesome. Show us those cards you got in that deck, my friend.
Okay, so we'll start with the Unisons. I played 4 hit Unisons, 1 Android 17 and 18, and 2 Majin Buu 4-drops. So the logic behind that is these draw a card for +1, so I'm very greedy. I like to draw cards. That's a very good Unison. I don't think I have ever used the -1 to pay 2 energy and flip the leader over, even though it seems in theory like it would be very good. The Majin Buu, everybody knows Majin Buu. He's just, once you get him established, gives your opponent a very hard time trying to kill you. And then I tried this out today as a 1 of Android 17 and 18 teaming up. It seems like it would be a great addition to the deck. I'm not sure if I like it more than hit, so there's only so much room for Unisons, but every single turn you get a 5k combo and a marker, and then you can neg 4 here and get dual attacks. So if your opponent negates your Unison swing waiting for you to activate battle, you have another Unison swing on deck. Seems like it'd be very good, but I only played this a few games, and GT was able to clear it with a blocker on board and 4 markers on it, and he still was able to clear it, so that was sad. But yeah, good Unisons.
Great.
Anything there? Nope. Okay. Next up, played a whole bunch of blockers. Played Dr. Rhoda at a 4 of, we played Oob at a 3 of, and we played Sun Goku Calamity Challenger at a 4 of. So they're all just here so that way you can block and get your leader to untap and draw and filter. Rhoda untaps when it's KO'd, so when your leader's awakened, you untap 2. Oob draws a card when you have a Unison in play, and then this, after you're at 3 energy, it draws a card. They're there to facilitate the leader ability, so that's nothing too exciting.
Yeah, do you think you'd up the ratios at all or change them at all?
You need to see a bunch of blockers. I don't know if Dr. Rhoda's better than Oob or what. It's kind of weird because I played against Cooler, and that deck actually has the ability to just clear these before, between Charismatic Villain and Salsa, clear them before you get them on the board. So that can be tough, but no, I mean, this is the best one. Once you get to 3 energy, 15k, you can swing, draw a card. I think 11's good. You could play 12, you could play less. It's up to you. Yeah.
And you still get the leader effect even if it's negated by game mechanic, right? So even if you neg the battle card, you still get the untap 1, draw 1.
Correct, as long as it gets sent to a drop, because game mechanic is via skill. So if they, like GT negs this or negs one of these baby ones by 5k it goes, you still get the untap. So
nice.
It's pretty nice, yeah. Alright, and then we'll go into some battle cards I played in the deck. I guess these would be more offensive battle cards. I played 2 Vegeta, dual attacker, 1 Tapion, 2 Tails, and an Android 17. So these are here for removal. They're also kind of finicky to play though, because you tap 3 and then it gets counterplayed and it feels bad, but removing 2 battle cards off the field is always good. Tapion is good in certain situations, most of the time just to draw a card and swing. It's also good if your Unison gets negated for some reason and you need to Spirit Boost off a marker. That's good there. Kale is probably the best card in the deck. It's pretty wild. When you're at 7 energy and you tap 5 for this, you bottom deck your opponent's whole board, ignoring barrier. It gains dual attack, and barrier for the turn, and then it's got double strike inherently. So it was very good for me today. And then Android 17, I never played it, but I think you just have to play one of in case kind of like a break glass in case of emergency play.
Yeah, any blue deck that kind of can stall enough to get that 7 energy really just like a win button. And same thing with Kale. I mean, you played that against me today, and it seemed to do pretty well. I mean, it's kind of a monster, and it sticks too. So
yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of the Cell in the Gamma deck, right? They tap 4, clear the whole board. This taps 5, but you get to ignore barrier and puts on a lot of pressure. So.
Yeah, for sure. Any changes on the ratios you'd make, or do you like the kind of just 2 ofs, 1 ofs?
I'd like to run more of these Vegetas because of the board clear, but they're just hard to get out. So I think this is good. You could swap this if you wanted to play Android 17 and play for that, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of players punt the game playing this and end up not thinking of everything, and I don't want to fall in that. I don't want to play this and then lose, so
right.
It only comes up on occasion. But yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Awesome.
All right, and then we've got a bunch of Negates. So we played 2 Dirty Burst, 4 D Magic, and we played 3 Baby's Minion, and then we played Hatch, of course, as the SCR. I don't really need to talk about this. Everybody knows what Hatch does.
Super self-explanatory.
Dimension Magic, you need it, so it's there. The Dirty Bursts are there. The meta, everything plays. Bombs now, Cell, the 8-drop in GT. I played against U7, so that stopped. One time it stopped the Goku from swinging, and one time it stopped the SCR from swinging, so that was nice. And you draw a card when you play it, so I like that. And then this would be probably the most controversial addition. Tapping 3 to then get Resolve Renewed or hit like that kind of sucks, but I think it's necessary floodgate. You have to play something. I didn't want to play Heroic Prospect because of all the Unison decks running around. It just doesn't really do anything against that. And I would really like for these to be Vegeta Ready to Rumble because they don't get hit by all of or most of the common counterplays to Floodgates. You still get Toitsukai with that, but this, I think 3 energy was just better. 4 energy is pretty heavy. So this worked out. A couple people took the challenge. It never worked out in their favor. And that's kind of why I like it, because it's only 1 card. So you can try and take the challenge, but then there's so many more negates coming or blocks or whatever. So usually it swings the tempo pretty good.
Would you maybe try putting in 1 or 2 Ready to Rumbles, or do you think that's kind of just, like you said, over cost?
If I was playing, I would probably put them in the side if I knew I was playing a longer game. In the side deck, I did play Heroic Prospect, and, if I wasn't playing against the Unison deck, and I sided some stuff out. But I think these are still 3 energy for this is so good. So
yeah, if it sticks, I mean, they're bottom decking 1 every time they swing. So
and Rhoda untaps 2 when it dies, basically with the leader and it. So
right.
you always have the energy to play this if you need it.
Nice.
All right, and then we have the counter plays. We've got 3 Trunks. Everybody knows
Staple.
God Sealing. We have a Baby Ape, just in case you need a counter. And then you have 2 Jiren, Survival of the Fittest.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's certain people at my locals who prefer to play the GT deck with Chain Attack into Zeno. And I got blown out last week playing Finn. I shuffled in 14 cards into my deck after getting taken down to 3 life and getting Chain Zeno. So I didn't care if I lost today. I'm just not going to have that happen.
You came prepared.
I was not going to lose that way again. And it worked out. Baby, super good. You do go late game, so you can tap 5. I'd love to play the Baby Unison, but there's just not enough space. So just 1 of this. It comes in clutch when you need it. God Sealing, I feel like it's used offensively more now than it is defensively because everybody's bombs have deflect. Otherwise, you're not going to play a bomb. But it's still there in certain situations. It comes in good against the Green Cooler deck. They kind of need all their energy. So if they tap 1 for the cooler and you God Seal it back, it is kind of a thought whether or not they're going to recast it for 1 because then it messes up the curve. So there's certain situations where it's good, but not as potent as it once was. Good there. All right, and then we've got 4 Vegeta super combos. You could play really whatever you want. You could definitely play Zeno. There's plenty of games where I lay down a bomb in my energy knowing I'm never going to get it back. If I had Zeno, that would help. And you also stay at a high life, so 4 is not always great. But just the fact that I play so many Unisons, I want to be able to bottom deck and draw 2. So that's why I play those. And then we've got 4 Sensu Beans because you have to play Sensu Bean, and 2 of the Realm of the God Beerus Destroys card. I like this card. It's basically a super combo for 1. You untap an energy every turn on the leader, so you always have an energy up for it. And then Bean is mostly used offensively to untap more, so you can pump more into your Unison if you're going for game. But both very good. This card is really good, actually. Bottom decking 2 on the opponent's turn. Against GT, a bottom decks that Pan. There's a bunch of good applications against Cooler, a bottom decks the 1-drop Cooler. So there's a bunch of good cards that this comes in clutch for.
Feels so good coming out of 20 kids with that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Pay 1, draw 1, and then typically they lose a card. So
You thought about UI, the IA or IAR rather?
Yep.
Playing it.
The reason I don't play it is because it does not pump a Unison, and typically when I'm going for game, it's with a Unison.
Right.
So this is better. And that UI only draws offensively, which this draws defensively, which I'm playing a defensive-minded deck. If I was playing something, if I was going for more of an aggro build, I think the UI would be good, but since you don't draw on defense, I don't want to neg 1 for 15k.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. And that's it for the main. We can go into the side deck.
Yeah, well, real quick, any change? I kind of hit on pieces, but anything you really might want to change up, when you get it home, or anything you want to put main deck that you have in the side at the moment?
Yeah,
or?
I would not main deck these unless
Right.
you know you're going to see it, but
I mean, even against any Android 17 like Gamma 1 and 2, that still comes in clutch. So
yeah, but if I play against Gamma, we're going to turn 7 probably.
Right. Yeah.
So might as well have them. And I would like to try out more of the 17-18 Unison, but we'll see how hit is just. I love hit, it's so good. So,
it's very consistent. Yeah.
All right, and then we'll go into the side deck. Pretty simple. I played some 8s for hand destruction. These came in every game I wasn't playing against something for Jiren, so just to draw 2. We've got Deborah for hand control, same thing. We've got the Ultimate Dart Dragon Slaying Bullet, which I should have sided in against Green Cooler, but I didn't, but that would be good in theory. And then we've got 2 more of the Realm of the Gods cards. Excuse me, in case I'm playing maybe like a Weenie Rush deck or something where I can benefit. Bottom decking 2. The Heroic Prospects, these came in. I took out the baby's minions and put these in against U7 because all their bombs can't swing, so that worked out good. This is not good into a Unison format. Oh, there's 3 of those. Not good into the Unison format. It's just a negate, so I didn't like that. And then I played 2 of these SS Go Tanks Absolute Unisons. Just for barrier hate. It's a dual attacking Unison also, so if it gets negated, and then you can swing again and still try and pump it to go triple strike and win. But it's good. It removes 2 cards, ignoring barrier, and then it also has a -2 to draw 2, so
Yeah.
it's not bad.
Why didn't you main deck the ape?
I didn't main deck the 8 because I main deck Jiren Survival of the Fittest. I would like to main deck 8, but I wanted to make sure I didn't lose to that. The 8 could be played for sure. You could find room. You could take out, a blocker or 2 here or there, take out 1 Unison and fit them in. But you draw so much that 8, you always enjoy drawing 2, but you really keep a high hand size the whole game. So they're a little bit of overkill. Hand destruction, they're great, but
I think before I changed Zeno, you probably had maybe 10 or 11 cards in hand, and that was it was pretty tough to see. But what about the 3-drop Gogeta Unison? Would you think about playing that at all? I know it's the one that if you have something in rest mode, you don't take any damage. Is that just tech in there, or would you even consider that at all?
I just don't feel like it curves out well because the leader doesn't untap on Awaken, so it's not like on turn 3 you can play that and then flip over and Awaken like most of the blue decks that play that do.
Right.
The dual attack is nice. The Sane and rest mode. Most of these decks now, by the time you're getting turn
That's
4 or
never
5,
living.
Right.
they're clearing your cards every single time. I mean, you could play the Go Tanks that activates battle and be cute and attempt to win, but I don't know if that is that natural strategy I would play. But I just feel like the Majin Buu Unison is way better.
For sure.
And I want to establish a Unison early, so I have to play a bunch of 2-drops, and then if I'm going to pick a big bomb, I'd rather just play Majin Buu, because once you get that Majin Buu established, it is very hard for your opponent to clear it.
Great. Now, quickly, go ahead and tell us your record and what you played against.
Well, I was 3-0. I played against U7, Brandon, good player. He was playing the red-blue list that he topped with at Fest. but this just has too much defense, so he wasn't able to get through. Second game, he crit my baby hatch out of my life with his Vegeta SCR, so that sucked, but I still won. And then the second round, I played against GT. We had a really long, grindy game 1, and just like we did last week, I survived at 1 life for like 3 or 4 turns, and then we did not finish game 2. It's very close. And then the last round, I played against Cody, playing Green Cooler. Puts on a lot of pressure, and game 1 he swung triple strike with the Unison 4 or 5 times, but he just couldn't get through. I had a pretty good hand that game. In the second game, he opened up some windows for me. Like, I would counter with the Gohan for 3 energy, and then he'd respond with Charismatic Villain, which normally is fine, but against this deck, that was great because then I could just untap 1, draw 1 when that Gohan went to the drop. So
Right, and the auto still goes off too. So
auto still goes off.
yeah.
Yeah. So there was some he could have. I think he sequenced a little differently here and there. It could have done work, but yeah, that deck is difficult to play against because you don't have. I guess I could side in, the Clash of the Masked Saiyan or whatever that black card is, but it's just hard to play against those Unison decks.
Or even like Absolute Confidence. I know that's kind of been seen as a bit of a tech in the side deck, just to pay 2 and remove a marker. That's kind of cheeky too.
Yeah, that would be good too. I just thought I had enough defense. I'd probably survive. And it worked out today, but I easily could have not had Dimension Magics and stuff like that and just lost. So that's how it goes. But yeah, overall, I think it's a super strong blue deck. There's other contenders for blue, I guess. You could play SS3, you could play Gamma. But this just draws so much.
Janemba Mill. Yeah.
You shouldn't play Janemba Mill. Don't play Janemba Mill. You want your friends to still come over to your house. You don't want to play Janemba Mill. But yeah, so I think it's one of the best blue leaders. Hopefully get some more games in with it and go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for going ahead and showing us your profile here. Looking forward to seeing you in another video, Bobby. Thank you so much.
Can I have some shout outs?
Go ahead, yeah, of course.
All right, shout out to all these guys who are here tonight. We had fun at Locals.
We got the squad.
Shout out to our youngest player at the tournament today, 6-year-old, getting 3rd place and beating his father. So that was very enjoyable for all of us. And then shout out to the guys on the Planet Vegeta Discord server, Daniel, Josh, Peter, all those guys who helped me play and learn and do better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bobby. Take care.
Yep.